Hello everyone, my name is Priestess Mareesha and I am the founder of the Doula Rebel LLC. And I am here today because one of the things that I wanted to do, of course, on this channel was to not only provide information around chakra work, shadow work, and healing, but I also wanted to provide information around birth work, and that of course includes my work as a doula. So this video, I wanted to introduce myself as a birth worker, and as well as talk a little bit about what a doula is in general, and then the different types of doulas that you may just find in the birthing world. So here we go. So I am a birth and bereavement doula. And so pretty much what a doula is, or what a birth doula is that a doula is a trained professional who provides continuous physical, emotional, and informative support to a birthing person and of course their family before, during, and shortly after childbirth to help them achieve the healthiest and most satisfying experience possible. So the best way that I can describe a doula, especially a birth doula, is the person that mothers the mother. We are the family's collaborator. We are their guide around the area in the world of childbirth. And then we also become their advocates. And especially me being a Black doula, this was my way of course, being a change agent around the Black maternity mortality rate, which of course continues to haunt this country to this day. And so it is really important, the doula work is because our hospital system, our healthcare system doesn't necessarily train our hospital providers to be birth supporters. Of course, they are there to do the work in order to allow the birth to happen. However, OBGYNs are not the only birthing professionals, and it's only but so much they can even do, or they have even obtained the knowledge on, to successfully partner with the woman through birth. And so what the OBGYN can't do, and what even the labor and delivery nurse can't do, the doula will be able to come in. And a lot of times that's just being able to sit with the mom. That's being able to actually go through the breathing exercises, to be able to, get her ice chips, and to do the massages, and to do the positive affirmations. So even if said partner was there with them, they can be just as overwhelmed with the process. And so a doula is able to walk them through that. So they are really, truly support people. Now, on the other side of the birth, then we have what we call bereavement. And so a bereavement doula is a doula who walks with, supports, and helps families who are experiencing the loss of their baby, whether the loss is through miscarriage, stillborn, or the diagnosis that means the baby will not live long after the child is delivered. So, of course, through childbirth, we all know that anything can pretty much happen. As much as, we prepare for our child to come earthside, as much as we try our best to, of course, stay affirmative and be positive, we never know what the outcome may end up being. And so for a lot of doulas, this is where we have to come in and turn what could be a moment of welcoming the baby home as a way of trying to help a family transition into the new normal, of knowing that the baby that they prepare for may not come home with them. And so the bereavement doula is able to provide the support to the family, whether if it's through helping them with funeral arrangements, to how to notify family members of the potential loss, to, of course, just being a space where they could take 5 minutes and be able to, kind of be in their emotions and to be present. And so one thing about a doula is that we're not fixers. However, we are connectors, we are collaborators, and many times we are teachers. So even when we're not present with our parents, even if we're not present with our families, we still want to ensure that we are leaving them with enough information so that they can be able to move forward on their own. Like, we empower our people. And so that's what's great about being a doula. And so another thing that I also wanted to note is that doulas, midwives, and OBGYNs, and also L&D nurses are completely different. The OBGYN and of course the midwife have similarities, as well as the doula, because we all in some ways can be considered a birth worker. But there are definitely levels. Doulas do not deliver children. We are supporters of birthing persons, as well as being an advocate that's in the room. And we can even be of help to, any OBGYNs or midwives that, of course, our family allows us to be able to help. However, the one thing that we do not do is that we do not deliver. And of course, we are not, which means that we are not a replacement for OBGYNs and midwives. And we also don't provide prenatal care. We don't do that. Of course, you will go to your medical professional, like if you chose to go to a midwife for your prenatal care and your childbirth journey, that's who you will go to. Or if you chose to go to an OBGYN for your prenatal as well as your childbirth experience, as well as your postpartum, then that's who you refer to. So with doulas, we are support people, but we are not medical providers. Okay? And so to talk a little bit about the different types of doulas, I think that this information is really important, because what it shows is that there are doulas that can actually support you throughout every part of your childbirth journey. So it's not just when the baby is getting ready to come here and once you go into labor, but there are doula supports, there are people, perinatal support persons who can actually help you throughout the journey. So the first doula that I did want to speak about is a sex doula, which many will call themselves holistic sex doulas. And so sex doulas are, and before you go, we're not the ones that necessarily, help you perform those things. But for many, the sex doula, of course, helps partner with people who may be going through certain things that may have affected their sex life. For some people, like those who may have been victims of sexual assault, those that may have been, have dealt with a decreased sex drive that may have affected, any type of relations. And even sex doulas may even come into when you have those that may be transitioning. Of course, as a representation of course, our trans community members, who are definitely showing up more in the birthing world, sex doulas are able to come and be able to support a lot of people in that area. The next, of course, we have our fertility doulas. And in many ways, you can kind of see that it's kind of self-explanatory. These are doulas who help families who want to be able to conceive, so these are people who have a lot of information around women's reproductive health as well as sexual health. They will be able to, of course, partner and provide a lot of information that may actually prevent a lot of women from being able to conceive and also carry full term. Just like we have, the term of PCOS, as well as the fibroids, and even those who deal with celiac disease. A lot of those are issues that could possibly, affect a person's ability to conceive and their fertility issues. So fertility doulas are people who are equipped to, of course, partner with those at that level. Next, we have prenatal doulas. So yes, prenatal doulas do exist. These are women who don't necessarily have a place or see their place being in the actual delivery room, but they actually want to partner with the family throughout their pregnancy. So these are the doulas who you tap into just to kind of be your support system throughout the 9 months, to make sure that you are on top of your appointments, that are teaching you ways to handle your prenatal stress and anxiety. And these are the doulas who can in some ways help you prepare for the journey, even though they may not necessarily be in the room with you. And then of course that leads us to our labor and birth doulas. So these are the ones that usually come in around 30 weeks of your pregnancy. They are the ones that pretty much help prepare you for the childbirth journey. So they are usually the ones who teach you all the different breathing techniques and comfort positions. They are also the ones that can help you prepare you for the day of, as well as being able to help you fill out like a birthing plan, or be able to really kind of go in and plan out what you want your experience to be like. Even though we all know that the birthing experience, the childbirth experience is up in the air, you can't really put an expectation on what happens. But I truly, and this is my personal opinion, think that it's really good for somebody to kind of go into an idea of what you do want to experience, so that even though, you know, sometimes it may kind of veer off, at least you have a roadmap to go down. Next, of course, we have is our postpartum doulas. And so these are the doulas who come in after the birth doula. They are usually the doulas that can partner for long-term postpartum care. For most doulas, they may do 1 to 2 visits postpartum, but the postpartum doula is usually the ones who can actually be able to devote a lot more time to get the family situated into their new normal. They are able to, you know, go over different like nutrition and exercise plans. And also a lot of postpartum doulas are certified in lactation education. So they are usually like your real go-to people before you tap into like other lactation consultants, or even IBCLCs, which stands for the International Board Certified Lactation Consultants. They can be like your first defense on how to fix some of your simple breastfeeding issues. And so then, of course, that leads us to our bereavement doulas, which we mentioned before. And so these are the doulas that, of course, are able to support and walk with you as you go through the stages of grief after the loss of a baby, whether it's through stillborn, miscarriage, and if you receive a diagnosis that your child will not live long after birth. And then we also have full spectrum. And so the full spectrum doula is a doula who supports a birthing person throughout any outcome of a pregnancy. So just like we have live births, and then we also have stillborns or miscarriages or terminal diagnosis, we also have people who do elect to terminate a pregnancy. And so this is where full spectrum doulas can come in, because they are the ones who are able to walk this person through. They can provide them information as to what various procedures that may be used, and what could be the proper care done after. And then also just be able to be an emotional support, because any decision like that to be a mom is a heavy one. And for some of us, you know, of course, it may be perfect timing for us. And then for others, depending on the circumstance, it may not be. And so for a full spectrum doula, and of course, I like to identify myself as a full spectrum, even though, of course, I definitely have a bigger focus on birth and bereavement. I open my doors for anyone who needs advice in terms of what their options are for childbirth or beyond. So I definitely, know that full spectrum doulas are important to the birthing world, and it's also important for women who want to exercise their right to choose. And so, but lastly, we have our adoption doulas. So, adoption doulas, again, another self-explanatory title, is there to support families who are, of course, adopting and want to do a smooth transition to the family. I think that adoption doulas are definitely great for families of, who may have like older children or, small children, just to kind of get them on a routine that both parties are able to come together with, to talk about, possible challenges that may come up and different ways that they can be able to work through those, and to provide real expectations about what happens when you bring someone new into the family. So doulas are just important. Doulas are dope. Doulas are like can really become your best friend, and we are so knowledgeable on so many things. And I think that the more we normalize the role of a doula, the more that we speak about how important we are to the work, with not only in the birthing world, but just in family, within our community, then we can definitely see more lives being positively impacted by the work that we do. So hopefully, after watching this video, you all have, became a tad bit more knowledgeable on what a doula is, what is it that I do, and then of course, what is it that a lot of other birth workers out there do. And I shall be back with more content, spiritual or birth world. All right, talk to you soon.